Be consistent with all your brand messaging. Have you heard of the saying, all roads lead to Rome? You should have the same mentality when it comes to every message that you put out on the internet. Yes, that's right. This includes email. Everything must be consistent. Everything, every form of communication must build up your brand. It must be consistent in terms of brand values. It must be consistent regarding the brand perception that you want to create in the minds of recipients. What makes this tricky is that this brand consistency remains the same no matter who you're talking to. You may be just replying to a vendor, or you may be talking to a prospect. It doesn't matter. Your brand values must stand out. This is called universal messaging. It's important to wrap your head around this, especially if you are giving out physical copies of your book to build local expertise for your small local business. This universal messaging amplifies the value that your company brings to the table. By following these tips, you can make sure that you will be able to hand out as many of your physical books to prospective customers as possible. Be consistent in all your communication platforms. Small businesses tend to think that their communication platforms are all online. They're thinking of their social media accounts, their website, or even their emails. Those are just part of the picture. The larger picture is that all your offline materials must also show your online accounts. There has to be a tight fit between the things that you do offline, sending out receipts, printing out flyers and brochures, and what you do online, populating your social media accounts, sending out emails, etc., etc. All offline materials must show all your online accounts, and all your online accounts must also reference your offline materials. There must be no difference between these two. They must cross-promote each other. On top of all of this, your book must be featured in all your materials both online and offline. Similarly, all your online accounts must feature your book. This is important because a lot of small business people think that your local expertise book, which is a physical and offline material, must be exclusively offline. Wrong. Never waste an opportunity to let people know that you have a physical book. If anything, your book instantly adds to your credibility online because people will see that you're not just publishing blog posts. You're not just sharing information online. You're not just on social media. You actually have a physical book. This makes you a tried and proven expert in their minds. Putting it all together. I would start with this methodology. Of course, I would expect you to fine-tune your implementation strategy based on your experiences as well as resources. But I would start here. First, I would start with a checklist. This will include all my social media accounts and places where I need to be online. This will also include my offline business processes. How do people find you offline? What do you already do to get the word out about your business? When you serve your customers, what kind of records do they walk away with? Do you simply give them a receipt? Do you hand out a brochure or flyer? Put this all in your checklist. Next, fine-tune them so they are more likely to promote your book. This can be as simple as adding a few lines of text on your receipt saying, if you would like a free reference book that lists all potential roofing problems and how to troubleshoot them, go to this website. This, of course, only applies to roofing businesses, but you get my point. Just edit the line a bit to apply to your business. Whether you're a plumber or HVAC service provider or you sell hardware, you have to include a few lines of text in all your communications to inform customers how to get a copy of your book. The next step is quite straightforward, but a lot of business people are simply too busy so they overlook it. Implement everything on your checklist. When you put together your checklist, you're listing items that you can implement immediately. Further down the road are things that you can do once you have enough resources and time. That's perfectly fine, but the moment you put something as doable and you have the resources to do it, you have to implement it. Now that you have gone over your list and implemented them all, the next step is to pay close attention to your results. I wish I could tell you that every time you throw spaghetti at the wall, every piece of pasta will stick. Sadly, that's not the case. There will be some offline and online marketing strategies that will work for your business. Your job at this point is to identify them quickly and do more of them. This is all about building on your successes. The next step is to pay close attention to the campaigns and strategies that did not work. Try to fix these. Is it a question of messaging? Is it a question of volume? Maybe the issue is putting out the messaging in more places. Whatever the situation, try to fix these laggards. After some time, you're going to the next step. Clear out underperformers and further scale up what works. After a few months, it should be very clear to you what works, what might work, and what has no chance of working. Depending on how much resources your business has, you might want to just focus on the stuff that clearly works. Everything else can either be put on the back burner or just simply forgotten. Scale up what works. Do the same for platforms. Previously, I talked about marketing campaigns and strategies. The next step is to look at your platforms online. Look for engagement and clicks. Try to tie as many of your brick-and-mortar sales to your brand's exposure online. Maybe you should publish a special discount code that people can only find out about when they're online. Whatever the case may be, find a way to track offline sales arising from online promotions. Just like with the methodology we discussed before in this video, try to optimize your content. See if you can get more engagement and clicks. But after 6 months, drop platforms that simply don't send enough traffic or signups. For whatever reason, the return on investment is not there. Be ready to cut and focus on the platforms that do work. Please help us spread the word about the power of physical local expertise books in boosting local business sales. Please click the like button, hit subscribe, and share this video on your social media accounts. Thank you for visiting the Instacredibility official YouTube channel. Visit our main site today at instacredibility.com.